Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Talking Balaclava. Today we're going over my retro carry handle, CAR-15. But before we dive in, I know you're sitting on the toilet right now, drinking your coffee, eating your beer. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Your comments are a sacrifice to the algorithm god, a god of which who loves carry handle ARs and retro M81 vibes. Let's dive in.
The destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. Which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. You and I have the ability and the dignity and the right to make our own decisions and determine our own destiny.
Hey gang, Larry Vickers here. Colt model 723, little trip down memory lane for you. I carried this gun back when I was in Delta in the 80s. A2 rear sights for me for a combat rear sight is a no-go. We're coming at you live fire, Vickers tactical style. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to go over another retro gun. I know the market is saturated right now with these guys that are simping over the retro guns, and I'm no exception to that. So I'm gonna go over this. Colt 723, I got big plans for this thing in the future. We'll kind of just break down the build real simple. I got a Colt 14.5 barrel up front. Now this is actually a 6920 barrel, pin and welded, so ATF. BCM A2X flash hider up front. We've got the M203 cut barrel. This is kind of like the Larry Vickers gun that everyone and their mom wants to clone. I've thought about taking that red pill, and obviously the Colt 723 from Larry Vickers is a huge inspiration, as well as a few big channels out there, but I kind of wanted to have my own little setup. So you got the old Brownells. These are actually a Brownells set of, what is it called? What's it called?
Handguards?
Handguards. Just reproduction handguards up here. I'd like to get the Colt ones with they got that real smooth, slick, like, finish to them. It's like that old school plastic. I couldn't get any of those. I don't want to spend $75 for a set of handguards, so I got the Brownells. I got a Luth AR upper. Got this off a guy off of Reddit, which is, we know Reddit's kind of a cesspool, but it has its uses for sure. You know, you can buy that old school Colt stuff, which I have one, but you're probably gonna pay a pretty penny for it. So Luth has been killing it as far as their parts go. So I'm kind of rocking with the pores on the lower. I got an Anderson lower, so not the best. I'm probably gonna swap this out for either like an A2 mark lower or like a Palmetto State, but there's people out there that are probably upset that I said Palmetto State because they think like Anderson and Palmetto State are the same category, but at the end of the day, I don't care. This is a budget, so to speak, as budget as you can be with a retro build. So I'm just kind of going over it. For my grip, I got a A2 grip. I shaved off the nub on it because just practicing some reloads with this gun, I was like, okay, I already hate this. So I went and took it off and Dremeled it and then just shaved it. So we're good to go there. You can also get the A1 grips. Those are also really good. Brownells, once again, makes those. Some of the older Colt ones are kind of faded and they got that like brown looking material to them, but this is just a modern one that I filed. Rocking the old retro mags. Those of you that know about or have been alive long enough to know about like how magazines, how they started off to where they are now, the one part about retro that isn't cool is those old school magazines, because they're like, for example, this one is a, you can see, they're not anti-tilt. So if something, you get a little tilt in there or whatever, you get some dirt, they're not gonna function as well as like your P-mags and whatnot. So we've definitely come leaps and bounds as far as magazine goes. Again, back to the build, just a normal parts kit as far as the lower goes. And then I got a Brownell stock. So did a little rubber band on there. Then we got some Ranger bands in the future to really give this that LARP, but, and then just got the old classic canteen sling rigged up. In the future, I plan on getting like a Surefire 660, maybe even a 6P. Some of those guys like Delta in the 90s used to like put them on the bottom of their carry hand, or their, here we go again, hand guards, or you might get the barrel mounted ones. I don't think I'm gonna go the QXL route because those are expensive, and quite frankly, you're not really gonna get performance out of them. So I'd much rather have like a 660 with a little Malkov device in it, so I can actually get, some actual lumens out there, because I think the 660 is like 60 lumens tops, incandescent bulb. And that was cool maybe in like 1987, but we live in the modern era, and modern problems require modern solutions. As far as optic goes, I have like an old school, it's not really old school, but like a cheapo optic that I was gonna put on here, but I may just wait and get like a, either the old Aimpoint 2000s or like an Aimpoint Pro. Not sure yet, but stay tuned. I will deck this gun out and make this a retro masterpiece. The 80s aesthetic, a lot of us didn't grow up, some of us were born in the 80s, but I'm a zoomer, I'm a 90s baby, especially after watching YouTube and being brainwashed. Really vibe with me, and I always liked the aesthetics, those old school G.I. Joe cartoons, or like 80s movies with the M81 and the A2s, or like some of these carbines, and it's just a vibe I really enjoy. So to learn where we are modern, as far as modern ARs go, modern equipment, even modern kit, you have to kind of go to the past and like experiment with that A2 grip. Now, you can still buy A2 grips, like I know a lot of companies their guns still come with them, but for an old build like this, that's period correct. So I decided to get it, and obviously I hated it because I've only ever really used either that A1 on my M16 or the Magpul. And even especially now, we got like better grip angles, stuff like that. Now look, there's been a lot of dudes, a lot of high-speed guys that have killed a lot of people with that grip. I'm not one of them because I'm not obviously on that level, but they were able to get stuff done with old equipment. Those guys were getting it done with hose clamps. They were getting it done with Ranger bands, paracord. That's just how they were. That's the best stuff that those guys had in the 80s and the 90s, and they were getting the job done. Kind of makes you appreciate what those guys were doing. Now I have an M16 as well, but something about the M16 with the big stock and the long barrel and whatnot, I'm more inclined to like those shorter guns. So I said, you know what, this has to be the final AR I build. I actually really like the skinny handguards. The way that you can like grip, I just really like the slimness of it. I've been told that the slots on these, where the heat dispenses or whatever comes out, you can actually use M-lock sections in that. So I may try that out, I haven't tried it yet. These old skinny stocks, there's nothing wrong with them. I actually really enjoy just the lightweightness of them, and it's just a basic, real slim stock. Feels better on the, feels good for the soul. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you are nostalgic for the 80s, leave a like, leave a comment.